I think I'll start with a little introduction of myself. My name is Ofonimeh. If you think of a light switch, turn it off, turn it on, Ofonimeh. But you're not allowed to call me switch, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen. But it means it's good to be patient. Um, I was invited to the Faith in Business retreat by Peter, actually. I thought it quite curious because, in terms of professionally, I got called to the bar in England, Wales a number of years ago. I know none of you are too young or too old. In fact, let's move past that. Then I crossed over to become a solicitor. I worked in private practice and went up and was appointed a director, heading up a significant department with a massive turnover. And then I just felt I wanted a second career. And so I went into the public sector and I serve as a civil servant advising ministers currently on animal welfare legislation, soon to do data protection, which will affect us all. So I found myself a curious person to be coming to a faith in business retreat. I will plug the fact that whilst my husband is self-employed and I've always had these ideas of things to do, it's not something that I personally have done. I don't have or own a business. But anyway, I found myself at this retreat by invitation, and I thought, I always have the attitude to try something at least but once. And so I was very, very impressed personally when I'm thinking about the retreat, location wise, content wise, and the company. On location, we were in Cambridge, such a significant place to be. I was amazed. Everyone around me seemed to live in Cambridge. It made me a little bit jealous. I thought to myself, I must move to Cambridge because that's where it's all happening. But I was relieved to hear that Ben flew in all the way from the other side of the world. So it made me feel that I was in welcome company there. But Cambridge was beautiful. We got to go around and hear the historical relevance of some of the things that had happened in the city and how it tied into business as well. And I thought, venue wise, where we were, Cambridge Union Society, they couldn't have picked a better place. So for me, very humbling that I was stood in the shoes of others who had gone before with clarity of thought of where they were going. And as a lawyer, for me, that was very attractive. Content. When it came to the content, I was very impressed by the broad spectrum of speakers that they brought, and all with a God focus, but specialists in their field. And so we had this thing called Heart Talks, and every Heart Talk was different. We had it from people in business, people in theology. You're going to hear from Ben shortly. And I was very impressed, but also it got me thinking about investments, my investments. I don't know about you. I'm one that I try my hands at anything. I've got some stocks and shares, I try to do it all by myself, but I had never deeply thought as much as I do about my giving, what I'm investing in, where the different strands to these investments go. And so for me, the content, the different speakers, there were short bursts of these conversations, but they kept on giving me things and notes to reflect on. I was very, very blessed that it was also from a God focus. Because in life, we have people coming in from different Eastern religions, different influences into what they're pumping into us. And to know that this was biblically and theologically based was very attractive for me. Third thing, company. My goodness me, I was very impressed. We had people in fashion, people in charities, people in education, people in theology. Then you had me, the random public servant. They had all different works of life, all coming interested in business. People who had walked away from their 9 to 5 and investing into their community. People who had made millions but investing into the body of Christ. People, for me, that mix, that it was just such a mix. It was kind of like going into London and trying Turkish 1 minute, Lebanese another. Honestly, it was coming at me. I met this young man. I thought he looked 16. My goodness me. Then he came forward speaking about this multi-million-dollar company. I'm thinking, he looks so young. He doesn't even look old enough to own this. And so that was the rich flavor of all that we had over the retreat. I was so pleased that I invested my time. I came from sunny Kent, the Garden of England. I came down to Cambridge and I was pleased that I made that effort, although I stayed in a hotel that looked like the Faulty Towers. I haven't spoken to Peter about this, but we will have words on it. So honestly, check your shindigs where you're going to be staying if you come next year. But beyond that, I thought that it was a very refreshing, thought provoking time for me. I have so many notes here. But the ones that I want to leave you with was one of the heart talks was a guy called Busoye Aiwifalade. They all had some very unique names. Forgive me if I have botched up the name here. But he said, and these were the poignant things, trusting in God for the moment. There was a chap who spoke about walking out of his 9 to 5 and starting a charity and birthing other businesses. And that stuck with me. The capacity, no fruitfulness without sacrifice. Calling me in terms of what am I going to do next to Ofonimeh, and consistency to pray for everything. One of the thoughts, I should leave you all with that kept coming back is that the return on generosity is joy. And there's still things. Have I started a business yet? No, I haven't. But I'm really thinking about it. There's some ideas and I'm still working on it. Have I been thinking about my investments? Yes, I have. Are they ethical? Will they give God all the glory? So much more to say, so little time to say it. But thank you very much for listening in.